The Season 2 trailer kicks off with a classic example of the show's twisted humor. Wednesday getting searched at the airport. At first glance, it seems like a throwaway joke. After all, she's carrying dozens of weapons, yet the real issue is a tiny bottle of sunscreen. But there's more going on beneath the surface. This moment reestablishes Wednesday's subversive nature. She's back in the normal world, but the world still has no idea how to handle someone like her. At the same time, this lighthearted opener contrasts with the darker tone that follows throughout the trailer, acting almost like one last breath before diving into deeper, darker mysteries. And then there's Thing, casually handing her the sunscreen, a small but meaningful gesture that tells us he's still actively involved and close to Wednesday. It's a subtle way to show that despite all the changes, some bonds haven't been broken, and that's going to matter later on. One of the most noticeable changes in Season 2 is the larger role given to the Addams family. While their appearances were pretty limited in the first season, they'll now be showing up more often. And, more importantly, they'll have a real impact on the storyline. The biggest standout is Pugsley, Wednesday's brother, who now gets some real screen time. The big surprise? A newly revealed electric power that was never mentioned before. It's not only a visually striking addition to the trailer, but also sparks speculation about the deeper mythology of the Addams bloodline. There's a quiet implication that he may have inherited or learned this power from Uncle Fester, who's famously associated with electricity. It hints at a kind of supernatural inheritance within the Addams family, adding a layer of depth to the universe, moving it beyond its usual quirky charm and into more mysterious, structured territory. Another key addition is Grandma Addams, played by Joanna Lumley. Her look and aura place her as a mystical, almost otherworldly figure, someone who may be tied to the ancient traditions of the family. Her occult-inspired aesthetic makes her feel like the missing link to the ancestral secrets teased throughout the trailer, especially those involving old tombs and family prophecies. As Wednesday returns to Nevermore, it's clear the school has undergone major changes too. The absence of Principal Weems, who met a tragic end last season, leaves room for new leadership, and with it, a shift in the school's entire atmosphere. The role is now taken over by Barry Dort, played by Steve Buscemi. His look and demeanor suggest a more eccentric and outgoing personality, a stark contrast to his predecessor's strict and commanding presence. This isn't just a cosmetic change. It signals a real tonal shift in the way the school is run, which could directly affect the unfolding conflicts. The student body also sees a refresh. Familiar faces like Bianca and Eugene return, keeping a link to the events of Season 1. But new students are also introduced, not yet fully explained, but seemingly connected to fresh subplots and alliances. Among the returning characters, one notable presence is Enid. She shows up with a more vibrant and colorful look, and the trailer hints at a more prominent role for her among the students. Her more assertive attitude suggests she might have taken on some kind of leadership position, possibly leading a group or internal club. This new environment has clear consequences for Wednesday. Even though her friendship with Enid still seems strong, the fact that Enid is now surrounded by new classmates and leading a group setting could naturally cause tension, especially considering Wednesday's introverted and socially detached personality. If there was any doubt that Season 2 would take a darker turn, the trailer quickly puts that to rest. A brutal attack sets the tone. A humanoid figure lunges at someone and bites into their head. The violence is raw, graphic, and makes it clear the threat this time is much more visceral. But this isn't an isolated event. Soon after, we're introduced to something even more unsettling. Creepy, lifelike dolls that capture Wednesday in one of the trailer's most intense moments. These creatures appear directly tied to the season's new villain, not yet revealed, but already casting a long shadow through these attacks. One particularly intriguing and potentially symbolic moment shows Wednesday handing a doll to Enid. What first seems like a sweet or symbolic gesture of friendship takes on a different meaning once we realize these dolls can come to life and be weaponized. That scene suggests a possible link between Wednesday's gift and the violence that follows. These visual clues point to a pattern. The central mystery of the season seems to revolve around a new form of manipulation, where harmless objects are turned into tools of chaos. And once again, Wednesday is caught at the heart of it all, both as the one unraveling the mystery and as a target herself. Amid all the dark events unfolding, a new thread begins to surface: the ancestral past of the Addams family. The trailer shows an old tomb marked with the Addams name. Worn and cracked by time, it's a quiet but powerful clue, a direct link between the current chaos and buried family secrets. That connection becomes more vivid through a striking visual: Wednesday crying black tears. At the same time, Morticia is shown flipping through a journal filled with the repeated phrase black tears, alongside an image of a girl weeping blood. The symbolism is crystal clear. What once was simply a family legacy now takes on an almost prophetic tone. The idea that Wednesday might be tied to an ancient prophecy or a curse passed down through generations isn't just a plot twist. It's a way to tie the present storyline to the Addams' hidden history. It deepens the lore of the show and elevates Wednesday from a teen fighting monsters to the heir of a mystery far greater than herself. This revelation doesn't isolate her. It binds her to a larger family cycle. The arrival of Grandma Addams, with her occult-like appearance, strengthens this tie to ancient traditions and perhaps forgotten mystical practices. Her presence may be the bridge between past and present, and possibly the only one who can unlock the true meaning of this prophecy. The trailer confirms what many had already suspected. Tyler, the fearsome Hyde from Season 1, is back. Seeing him in chains, his expression a mix of restraint and menace, instantly brings the tension flooding back. He was the monster behind multiple murders, and his capture felt like a definitive end. But in this new chapter, the past doesn't stay buried for long. Bringing him back suggests that his role is more than just a returning villain. A brief moment shows him facing off with Wednesday, already in his monstrous form, hinting at an inevitable rematch. But here's the twist. The trailer doesn't frame him as an immediate threat, but rather as someone who might be walking a new path. That opens up an intriguing possibility. Tyler may no longer be the main antagonist. Instead, he could be a morally ambiguous figure. We know he was manipulated by greater forces, namely Ms. Thornhill. Now that this manipulation is out in the open, a new question arises. Is he seeking redemption? A former monster trying to rewrite his fate, or maybe just pretending to survive? Either way, he presents a psychological threat to Wednesday, who's now carrying even more weight and deeper scars. Whether their confrontation is physical or emotional, it's shaping up to be one of the most intense and dramatic arcs of the seasons. Amid all the supernatural mysteries and hidden truths, the trailer hints at a conflict that feels much more human, and perhaps the most painful one for Wednesday yet. In one of the most symbolically loaded scenes, she's seen talking to her mother, with someone visibly imprisoned in the background. The hair is unmistakable. It's Enid, her best friend. This moment raises a powerful question. Why is she there? The most likely answer lies in the visual and narrative clues we've seen so far. Enid, being a werewolf and naturally associated with strength and instinct, had just received a doll from Wednesday before we learned that these dolls come to life and attack. The connection between the attacks and the gift creates a dangerous scenario. Enid might have been wrongly accused of a crime she didn't commit. This type of tension is crucial for the series because it puts loyalty and emotional bonds from Season 1 to the ultimate test. Enid, once a source of warmth and optimism, now finds herself at the heart of a potential injustice. And Wednesday, known for her cold logic and sharp investigative mind, might be torn between protecting her friend and following the evidence. This situation also reinforces one of the show's recurring themes. Appearances can be deceiving. The most colorful, outgoing character could be seen as a threat, simply for who she is. A clear parallel to real-world prejudice and judgment. Even in a show filled with monsters and prophecies, some fears remain disturbingly real. While Wednesday is rooted in supernatural mysteries, one of the key elements of Season 2 unfolds off-screen, in real life. The absence of Xavier in the trailer isn't just a creative choice. It's the result of a clear editorial and institutional decision. Percy Hines White, who played Xavier and was one of Wednesday's love interests in Season 1, was removed from the series following serious allegations and a wave of backlash on social media. His departure directly affects Wednesday's character arc, not just emotionally, but narratively. His absence means the complete erasure of a previously established romantic storyline. As a result, The series seems to be refocusing its lens on the main character. The trailer makes this shift obvious. Wednesday will now be more immersed in mystery and horror, with less emphasis on traditional romantic connections. This change doesn't just respond to a character's removal, it marks a tonal evolution, making the series darker, more introspective, and arguably more mature. Another significant point is the strengthened role of Jenna Ortega behind the scenes. Now also serving as a producer on the show, Ortega has taken on more creative control over her character. This new position may explain the redirection of focus. Ortega had previously voiced a desire to see Wednesday less involved in love plots and more connected to suspense, mystery, and the core of her classic persona. The Season 2 trailer doesn't just deliver narrative and visual clues. It also confirms how the new chapter will be released, and that alone has big implications for viewers. There will be 8 episodes total, split into 2 parts. The first half premieres on August 6th, while the second drops on September 3rd. The gap between releases isn't huge in terms of time, but it's long enough to shape how the show is consumed, and fuel heated conversations among fans. This 2-part strategy has become a common move for Netflix, aimed at keeping audience engagement high and extending the show's relevance on social media. But it's not without its drawbacks. Many viewers get frustrated having to wait for the full story to unfold, especially in a series so driven by continuity and suspense. For a show where mystery is the engine of everything, this structure could work as a strength or a gamble. The expectations built up in Part 1 will need to be met or exceeded in Part 2. And with all the elements we've seen so far, new villains, ancestral ties, shifting family dynamics, and deep internal conflicts, Wednesday seems more than ready to take on that challenge. And that's it, folks. Season 2 of Wednesday is shaping up to be darker, deeper, and way more intense than before, packed with new mysteries, family secrets, and plot twists that'll challenge everything we thought we knew. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to keep up with all the theories, Easter eggs, and hidden details no one else is talking about, you know what to do. Drop a like if this helped you out, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, and hit the bell icon, because the next reveals, they're going to give you chills.